Welcome to Job Bridges Japanese Language Training Center. We provide an online tutorial for people who aspires to work in Japan. Before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to keep you updated on our lessons to help you master Japanese language in no time. Konnichiwa minasan! Welcome back to Job Bridges Japanese Language video tutorial. And in lesson 24, we'll be discussing about a more formal way of saying when you receive something personally or when your family members receive something. And then of course, how about when you receive a help or an action wherein you benefited from it? Let's discuss that in this video. Alright. Let's start off with kuremasu. You learned that agemasu means give in lesson 7. Remember that? So this verb cannot be used when somebody else gives something to the speaker or their speaker's family. Example, Sato-san wa watashi ni Christmas card wo agemashita. But in that case or in this case, kuremasu should be used. Listen to this example. Watashi wa Sato-san ni hana o agemashita. So that's when you give flowers to Misato, right? You use agemashita because you as the speaker is the one who gave the flowers. But again, as I've said, if the speaker or the speaker's family is the one who receives something, this is the right way of saying it. Sato-san wa watashi ni Christmas card wo kuremashita. Again, Sato-san wa watashi ni Christmas card wo kuremashita. Miss Sato gave me a Christmas card. So it's more formal when you say, or it's much apt or right when you personally or the speaker personally receives something, we use kuremashita instead of agemasu or agemashita. Here's another example. Sato-san wa imoto ni okashi o kuremashita. Again, Sato-san wa imoto ni okashi o kuremashita. Or Miss Sato gave candies to my younger sister. Now, we use kuremashita again because the speaker's family is the one in the receiving end. Now, again, if you are the giver, you can use the agemashita if you want to say you give or gave. But if it is the speaker or you are the receiver or a family member, you use kuremasu or kuremashita. O kuremashita ka? Now, let's talk about when you give or receive a certain action. So, in this case, we'll use verb te form agemasu, moraimasu, or kuremasu. Again, verb te form agemasu to give, verb te form moraimasu to receive, and verb te form kuremasu to receive as in for the speaker or for your personal receiving end. So, agemasu, moraimasu, and kuremasu are also used to refer to the giving and receiving of actions as well as those of things. They indicate who is doing the act for whom, while also expressing a sense of goodwill or gratitude. In this case, the act is expressed by the te form. So let's start off with verb te form agemasu. The pattern verb te form agemasu is used when the person doing the action is taken as the subject. It shows that the action confers some kind of profit or benefit on the recipient. Again, the action confers some kind of profit or benefit on the recipient. Example, Watashi wa Kimura-san ni hon o kashite agemashita. Again, Watashi wa Kimura-san ni hon o kashite agemashita, or I lent Miss Kimura a book. You might say na why not just say watashi wa Kimura-san ni hon o kashimashita? Why did we have to use kashite agemashita in this sentence pattern? It is because, when the speaker lent Miss Kimura the book, Miss Kimura might have benefited from that act of lending or borrowing the book. That's why we use kashite agemashita instead of just kashimashita. There is a certain profit or benefit that the recipient has taken from the action. Let's say a teacher is teaching a student a certain topic, let's say an English language, and of course from that teaching or from that action, the student is benefiting from that, right? So you could say, Sensei wa gakusei ni eigo wo oshete agemashita. Again, Sensei wa gakusei ni eigo wo oshete agemashita. We did not just stop by saying that the teacher is teaching the student or just oshimasu, but we said oshete agemashita because the student benefited from the teaching, because he or she is learning something new from the teacher, which is the English language. You got that? But because the te agemasu pattern denotes the conferral of some kind of profit or benefit, it could sound patronizing if you used it when the recipient is of a higher status than the person conferring the profit or benefit. Like, if you use it to your boss, it could sound a little patronizing, right? Like they are benefiting from what you're doing. So it is better in this case to use the pattern verb mass form mashoka, or again the verb mashoka, like what we've learned in lesson 14. For example, taxi o yobimashou ka, or shall I call a taxi for you? Instead of saying taxi o yonde agemasu ka, right? That could sound patronizing, especially if you're talking to your boss. Like, if you would call a taxi for them, it's like you're doing them a favor. Okay, so instead of using yonde agemasu, we say yobimashou ka. And then another one, tetsudaimashou ka, or may I help you? Instead of tetsudate agemasu, it's more right to say tetsudaimashou ka when, of course, offering a help. Because saying tetsudate agemasu is like telling your listener that I'll help you because you'll benefit from it, which is much better. Tetsudate agemasu or tetsudaimashou ka, especially if you're talking to someone of a higher status. Now, moving on. Let's talk about verb te form moraimasu. Now, listen to this example for verb te form moraimasu. Watashi wa Yamada-san ni toshokan no denwa bango wo oshete moraimashita. Again, watashi wa Yamada-san ni toshokan no denwa bango wo oshete moraimashita. Or Mr. Yamada told me the telephone number of the library. Now, this expression conveys a sense of gratitude on the part of those who receive a favor. Now, when someone helped you with something, it is better to use the verb te form moraimasu instead of just using the moraimasu or whatever action that person gave you, because using the verb te form moraimasu means that you are grateful for whatever help that they gave you. It could be tetsudate moraimasu, meaning you're grateful that they helped you. Oshete moraimasu, you're grateful that they taught you or tell you something, and so on. So again, using the verb te form moraimasu shows or conveys a sense of gratitude on the part of the receiver. Now, what if the speaker or the actor is the receiving end of the action? So this is where we'll be using the verb te form kuremasu. So example, Haha wa watashi ni seta wo okutte kuremashita. Again, Haha wa watashi ni seta wo okutte kuremashita. Or my mother sent me a sweater. So like in vite for moraimasu, this expression also conveys a sense of gratitude on the part of those who receives a favor. But the difference is that the verb te for moraimasu has the receiver of the act as the subject of the sentence, while the verb te form kuremasu has the actor or perhaps the speaker as the subject of the sentence, implying that the actor, which is the subject denoted by the watashi ni, voluntarily takes the action. So the receiver of the act in the latter case is often the speaker, and watashi, which is again the receiver, ni, is often omitted. As we've said before, if the subject of your sentence is always you or the watashi, you can always omit that. For example, like the watashi wa, you can omit that. And if it's watashi ni, you could also omit that in a sentence. Remember that. So again, vite form kuremasu, wherein the actor or the speaker, or most probably the watashi in that sentence, is the voluntary receiver of the action. Like in our example, wherein Haha wa watashi ni seta wo okutte kuremashita, or wherein my mother sent me a sweater, you received it voluntarily, right? That's why we use the verb te form kuremashita, or in the sentence's case, okutte kuremashita. Wakarimashita minasan? Now let's talk about noun, ga, verb. Again, noun, which is a person, ga, then a verb. Now before I explain to you the use of this sentence pattern, let's analyze first the example. 素敵なネクタイですね。Sato san ga kuremashita. Or in English, that's a nice tie, isn't it? Yes, Miss Sato gave it to me. What did you notice? Okay, we use Sato-san ga kuremashita instead of Sato-san wa kuremashita, right? So, you present a topic saying, Suteki na necktie desu ne? And then responding to it, your partner in the conversation gives a piece of information on the topic which is unknown to you. Kono necktie wa Sato-san ga kuremashita. So we omit the kono necktie wa because you already mentioned that. Now, the subject of the sentence giving new information is indicated by ga. So the new information that you've obtained from that conversation is that the necktie was given by Miss Sato. That's why we use ga to Sato-san ga kuremashita instead of Sato-san wa kuremashita, because it is a new information unknown to the speaker. Wakatta? Then how about interrogative ga, verb? Again, interrogative ga, verb. Now you learn that when the subject is questioned, it is indicated by ga, ni, arimasu, imasu sentences, wherein you learn that from lesson 10, and adjective sentences in 12 or in lesson 12. So this is also the case for verb sentences. Example, Dare ga tetsudai ni ikimasu ka? Karina-san ga ikimasu. Or who will go to give me a hand? Miss Karina will. Alright, that's just it for today. See you on our next videos. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to keep you updated on our lessons so you can master Japanese language in no time.